you think you're weak. You think mental toughness is something other people have, something you missed in the genetic lottery, something that was handed out the day you stayed home sick. You wake up every morning feeling like you're made of glass in a world full of hammers, cracking under pressure, that seems to make everyone else stronger, breaking apart when everyone around you seems bulletproof. You see other people handling stress like it's nothing, taking risks like they're guaranteed to succeed, bouncing back from failures like they have some secret superpower you were never given access to. You watch them navigate conflict with confidence while you avoid it at all costs. You see them push through discomfort while you crumble at the first sign of difficulty. And you tell yourself the same story you've been telling yourself for years. I'm just not built for this. I'm just not strong enough. I'm just not tough enough. Some people have it, and I don't. But I'm here to tell you something that might sting at first, but will transform you if you let it. You're not weak. You just haven't built mental toughness yet. And there's a universe of difference between those two things. One is a fixed identity that keeps you trapped. The other is a temporary state that can be changed with the right understanding and the right actions. Mental toughness is what happens when courage meets consistency. Mental toughness is what emerges when you stop being a victim of your emotions and start being the master of your mind. Mental toughness is what you get when you realize that the same brain that creates your fears can conquer them. The same heart that feels overwhelmed can find strength. The same spirit that feels broken can become unbreakable. See, the world wants you to believe you're fragile. They want you to think you're just built different, that you're missing some strength gene, that you're fundamentally too sensitive for this harsh reality. They profit from your insecurity. They benefit from your self-doubt. They need you to believe you're powerless, so you'll keep buying their solutions, their quick fixes, their empty promises. They want you to accept weakness as your identity and struggle as your permanent address. They want you to believe that some people are just naturally tough and others are just naturally weak. And there's nothing you can do about which category you fall into. But that's a lie. That's the biggest lie ever whispered to the human soul. You have more strength in your breaking point than most people use in their breakthrough moments. You have more resilience in your darkest hour than most people tap into when they're standing in the light. You have more mental toughness waiting inside you than you've ever been taught to access. More potential for strength than you've ever been encouraged to explore. But here's the thing about strength. It's useless without training. It's meaningless without practice. It's dormant without activation. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Not just how to discover your strength, but how to build the mental toughness that makes strength inevitable. How to develop the psychological muscle that makes resilience your default setting. Let me ask you something, and I want you to be brutally honest with yourself. When was the last time you did something that terrified you because you knew it would grow you? When was the last time you stayed in the discomfort because you knew comfort was the enemy of greatness? When was the last time you chose the path that scared you because you knew fear was just weakness leaving your body? When was the last time you had a difficult conversation instead of avoiding it? When was the last time you applied for something you wanted but didn't think you deserved? When was the last time you stood up for yourself when it would have been easier to stay silent? When was the last time you did something that mattered to you despite what other people might think? If you're struggling to answer those questions, you're not alone. If those questions make you uncomfortable, that discomfort is telling you something important. It's telling you exactly where your growth lives. It's pointing you toward exactly what you need to develop. We live in a world that worships emotional safety. We live in a culture that celebrates the comfortable path. We live in a society that tells you to avoid anything that makes you uncomfortable, instead of understanding that discomfort is the price of admission to your next level. We're surrounded by messages that tell us to follow our feelings, trust our impulses, do what feels good. But nobody talks about what happens when your feelings are lying to you, when your impulses are leading you away from your goals, when what feels good in the moment is destroying what you want in the long term. Nobody talks about the fact that the voice in your head that tells you to quit, to give up, to take the easy way out, that voice doesn't have your best interests at heart. That voice is designed to keep you safe, not to help you grow. That voice is programmed for survival, not for success. But comfort is a liar. Ease is a manipulator. The path of least resistance is a destroyer of dreams, a killer of potential, a thief of the life you could be living. And if you're following them instead of leading them, you're not living your potential. You're being lived by your limitations. You're not writing your story. You're letting your fears write it for you. The average person faces dozens of opportunities every day to build mental toughness. Dozens of moments to choose growth over comfort, courage over convenience, strength over safety. Every difficult conversation is an opportunity. Every challenging task is a chance to grow stronger. Every moment of discomfort is a chance to expand your capacity for handling life. But most people sleepwalk through those moments. They let fear drive the car while their dreams sit in the passenger seat, watching greatness pass by through the window of what could have been. They choose the familiar path of weakness over the uncertain path of strength. They choose the predictable comfort of staying the same over the unpredictable growth of becoming more. But you're not average. You wouldn't be here if you were. You're here because something inside you is roaring for more. Something inside you knows you're capable of withstanding more pressure, handling more challenge, becoming more than you currently are. Something inside you refuses to accept that this fragile version of yourself is the final draft. That something is your spirit calling you to toughness. That something is your potential demanding expression. That something is your future self begging you to build the mental muscle today that will carry you through any storm tomorrow, any challenge next year, any obstacle that life decides to place in your path. Mental toughness isn't about becoming heartless. Mental toughness is about having a heart that can handle anything. Mental toughness isn't about never feeling pain. It's about feeling everything and choosing your response anyway. Mental toughness isn't about what you can't feel. It's about what you choose to do with what you feel so you can become who you were born to be. It's not about suppressing your emotions. It's about not being controlled by them. It's not about avoiding difficult situations. It's about developing the capacity to handle them. It's not about pretending everything is okay. It's about being okay even when everything isn't. Every great comeback in human history started with someone feeling broken, but refusing to stay that way. Every breakthrough began with someone choosing the mentally tough path over the emotionally easy one. Every legend was forged in the fire of challenges that would have shattered the unprepared mind. Think about the people you most admire. The athletes who came back from career-ending injuries. The entrepreneurs who built empires from nothing. The leaders who stood up when everyone else sat down. The ordinary people who did extraordinary things when life demanded it of them. Not one of them was born with mental toughness. Not one of them was naturally equipped to handle what life threw at them. They all had to build it, develop it, earn it, through the daily choice to show up for themselves, even when they didn't feel like it. And you have that same fire inside you. You have that same potential. You have that same unbreakable core waiting to be developed. But potential without development is like a diamond without cutting. It might have value, but it won't have brilliance. It might be precious, but it won't be powerful. Let me tell you what mental toughness really is, because most people have it completely wrong. It's not about being perfect. It's not about never struggling. It's not about becoming some emotionless machine who never gets affected by anything. That's not mental toughness, that's emotional death, that's spiritual numbness, that's psychological suicide. Real mental toughness is about resilience. It's about the ability to bend without breaking. It's about the power to feel everything while remaining functional. It's about becoming the hero of your story instead of just a victim of your circumstances. Mental toughness is about being like bamboo in a hurricane. Flexible enough to bend with the wind, but rooted enough to never break. It's about being like water, taking the shape of whatever container you're in, but never losing your essential nature. It's about being like fire, consuming what doesn't serve you, but providing warmth and light for everything that does. Now, mental toughness has 4 pillars that hold up everything else. Master these 4 pillars, and you'll develop the kind of inner strength that carries you through anything. Ignore them and you'll continue to feel fragile in a world that demands strength. First pillar, emotional regulation. This isn't about not feeling emotions. This is about feeling them without being hijacked by them. It's about being in the storm without becoming the storm. It's about experiencing every feeling fully without letting those feelings make your decisions for you. Your emotions are data, not directions. They're information, not instructions. They're signals, not sentences. When you master emotional regulation, you become like a skilled ship captain in rough waters. You feel every wave, you acknowledge every storm, but you never let the weather determine your destination. Think about it this way. Right now, in this moment, you're feeling something. Maybe it's hope mixed with skepticism. Maybe it's excitement mixed with fear. Maybe it's that familiar cocktail of wanting to change but being afraid of what that change might cost you, what it might demand of you, what you might have to give up to become who you're meant to be. Feel it, acknowledge it, name it if you can. But don't let it make your decisions for you. Don't let it tell you what you're capable of. Don't let it define what you're going to do next. The strongest people you know aren't the ones who don't feel fear. They're the ones who feel fear and show up anyway. They're not the ones who don't get anxious. They're the ones who get anxious and perform anyway. They're not the ones who don't doubt themselves. They're the ones who doubt themselves and bet on themselves anyway. They've learned that courage isn't the absence of fear, it's action in the presence of fear. They've learned that confidence isn't the absence of doubt, it's commitment in the presence of doubt. They've learned that strength isn't the absence of weakness, it's growth in the presence of weakness. Here's a practical tool that will change your life. When you're feeling overwhelmed, when emotions are running high, when you feel like you're about to be swept away by what you're feeling, use the 5-4-3-2-1 technique. Name 5 things you can see, 4 things you can touch, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, and one thing you can taste. This isn't just distraction. This is neurological rewiring. You're activating your prefrontal cortex, the thinking part of your brain, while calming your amygdala, the emotional part. You're literally taking back control of your mental state. You're proving to your nervous system that you're safe, that you're in control, that you can handle whatever you're feeling. Second pillar, stress inoculation. This is about deliberately exposing yourself to manageable doses of discomfort so you can handle the unmanageable doses when they inevitably come. It's like a vaccine for your resilience. Small amounts of controlled challenge that build your immunity to larger challenges. Your comfort zone isn't comfortable, it's familiar. And familiar isn't where growth lives. Familiar is where stagnation lives. Familiar is where potential goes to die. Growth lives in that space between I can definitely do this and I definitely can't do this. That space is where your mental toughness gets built, one uncomfortable choice at a time. Here's what most people don't understand. Every time you avoid discomfort, you're training yourself to be less capable of handling it. Every time you choose the easy path, you're making the hard path seem even harder. Every time you give in to the impulse for immediate comfort, you're programming yourself to be less resilient in the future. But the opposite is also true. Every time you deliberately choose discomfort, you're expanding your capacity for it. Every time you do something that scares you a little bit, you're proving to yourself that you can handle more than you thought you could. Every time you stay in difficulty instead of running from it, you're building psychological muscle. Start small, but start consistently. If public speaking terrifies you, don't start with giving a TED Talk to thousands of people. Start with speaking up more in meetings, then maybe present to a small group of friends, then join a Toastmasters club, then volunteer to give a presentation at work. Each step builds your capacity for the next one. If confrontation scares you, don't start with your biggest, most difficult relationship issue. Start with something small. Returning food that's wrong at a restaurant. Asking for a discount you think you deserve. Speaking up when someone cuts in line. Build your confrontation muscle with low-stakes situations before you tackle the high-stakes ones. If physical challenges intimidate you, don't start with running a marathon next week. Start with a walk that's just a little longer than feels easy, then a short jog, then a longer run. You're not just building physical fitness, you're building the mental muscle that says, I can do hard things. Every time you do something that makes you uncomfortable, you're expanding what psychologists call your window of tolerance. You're teaching your nervous system that you can handle more than it thought you could. You're proving to yourself that discomfort isn't danger, it's development. Third pillar, cognitive flexibility. This is your ability to see situations from multiple angles and adapt your thinking when reality doesn't match your expectations. Mentally tough people aren't rigid, they're adaptable. They don't break when things don't go according to plan. They bend and find a new plan. They don't collapse when life takes an unexpected turn. They adjust their course and keep moving forward. Rigid thinking is the enemy of mental toughness. When you believe there's only one way for things to go, only one path to success, only one definition of winning, you become fragile. You become vulnerable to every setback, every plot twist, every unexpected challenge. But when you develop cognitive flexibility, you become like water flowing down a mountain. When you hit a rock, you flow around it. When you encounter a cliff, you find another way down. When your original path gets blocked, you find a new path. You never stop moving toward your destination, but you're willing to adjust your route. Here's a tool that will revolutionize how you handle challenges. The 3-perspective technique. When something difficult happens, when you're faced with a setback or an obstacle, ask yourself 3 questions. How will this matter in a week? How will this matter in a year? How will this matter in a decade? This isn't about minimizing your problems or pretending they don't matter. It's about right-sizing them. It's about gaining perspective. Most of the things that feel devastating today will be stories you tell for inspiration tomorrow. Most of the obstacles that feel impossible today will be stepping stones you're grateful for later. Most of the pain that feels permanent today will be the strength you can't imagine living without. Practice reframing your internal narrative. Instead of, "This is happening to me," try, "This is happening for me." Instead of, "I can't handle this," try, "I'm learning to handle this." Instead of, "This is too hard," try, "This is making me harder to break." Instead of, "Why is this happening?" try, "What is this teaching me?" Instead of, "This isn't fair," try, "This is preparing me for something." Instead of, "I'm not strong enough," try, "I'm getting stronger." This isn't positive thinking, this is powerful thinking. This is the difference between being a victim of your circumstances and being a student of your circumstances. This is the difference between being broken by your challenges and being built by them. 4th pillar, purpose and values alignment. This is about connecting your daily struggles to your deeper sense of why. When you know why you're doing something, you can endure almost any how. When your pain serves a purpose, it transforms from suffering into sacrifice. When your struggles align with your values, they stop being just struggles and become investments in the life you're building. Here's the truth that nobody talks about. You can endure almost anything if it's connected to something that matters to you. You can handle incredible amounts of discomfort, challenge, and even pain if you understand how it serves your deeper purpose. Think about a parent working multiple jobs to provide for their children. Think about an athlete training through exhaustion to achieve their Olympic dream. Think about an entrepreneur working 16-hour days to build something meaningful. The difficulty doesn't go away, but it becomes bearable because it serves something bigger than momentary comfort. Take time to identify what really matters to you, not what you think should matter based on what other people value, not what you've been told should matter by society, your family, or your friends. What actually lights a fire in your soul? What gets you excited about the future? What makes you feel alive? Is it freedom? The ability to make your own choices and live life on your own terms? Is it growth? The continuous journey of becoming better, stronger, more capable? Is it family? Creating a legacy and providing for the people you love? Is it impact? Making a meaningful difference in the world? Is it justice? Fighting for what's right and standing up for those who can't stand up for themselves? When you're facing a difficult situation, when you're tempted to take the easy way out, when you're questioning whether you have what it takes, connect it back to these values. Connect it back to your deeper why. I'm having this uncomfortable conversation because I value honesty, and living authentically matters more to me than avoiding temporary discomfort. I'm pushing through this challenge because I value growth, and becoming stronger matters more to me than staying comfortable. I'm staying disciplined with this goal because I value the person I'm becoming, and that future version of myself matters more to me than what I want in this moment. When your struggles serve your values, they stop being just struggles. They become sacred. They become meaningful. They become the price you're willing to pay for the life you're building. Now, Let me give you the daily practices that will build these pillars into unshakable foundations. Mental toughness isn't built in grand gestures. It's built in small, consistent choices made day after day after day. Morning practices. Every morning you wake up with a choice. You can start your day by immediately reaching for comfort, hitting snooze, checking your phone, avoiding anything that requires effort. Or you can start your day by immediately reaching for growth. The first choice you make each day sets the tone for every choice that follows. If your first choice is weakness, you're programming yourself for a day of weakness. If your first choice is strength, you're programming yourself for a day of strength. Start your day with something that requires you to overcome your first impulse of the day. This could be making your bed when you'd rather leave it messy. It could be taking a cold shower when you'd rather stay warm. It could be 10 minutes of meditation when you'd rather scroll your phone. It could be getting up 5 minutes earlier when you'd rather sleep in. The specific action doesn't matter as much as the pattern you're establishing. You're teaching your brain that you're the one in charge, not your impulses. You're proving to yourself that you can do things you don't feel like doing. You're building what I call decision muscle. The strength to choose what's right over what's easy. Try the 1 degree harder rule. Whatever you normally do in the morning, make it slightly more challenging. If you usually sleep until 7, wake up at 6:55. If you usually scroll your phone immediately after waking, wait 5 minutes. If you usually drink coffee immediately, drink a glass of water first. Small changes compound into massive transformations. Throughout the day, practice what I call the discomfort diet. Deliberately seek out small doses of discomfort throughout your day. Take the stairs when there's an elevator. Park farther away when there's a closer spot. Have that slightly awkward conversation you've been avoiding, yup. Speak up when you'd normally stay quiet. Do the task you've been procrastinating on. Use the pause principle. Before you react to any challenging situation, before you respond to any stressful moment, pause and ask yourself, what would the mentally toughest version of myself do in this situation? Then do that thing, even if you don't feel like it, even if it scares you, even if it's uncomfortable. This isn't about becoming someone else. It's about accessing the strongest version of who you already are. That version exists. You've been them before, in moments of crisis, in times when you had no choice but to be strong. The goal is to access that version of yourself by choice, not just in emergencies. Remember, every time you choose the harder path in a small moment, you're building the strength to choose the harder path in the big moments. Every time you do something that scares you a little bit, you're expanding your capacity to do things that scare you a lot. Every small act of courage builds your courage muscle for when you really need it. Evening practices. End each day by reflecting on your mental toughness building. This isn't about judging yourself harshly or criticizing what you didn't do. It's about acknowledging your growth and setting intentions for continued development. Ask yourself 3 questions. What did I do today that required courage? What did I learn about my own strength? What will I do tomorrow to become even mentally stronger? Celebrate the moments when you showed up despite not feeling like it. Honor the times when you chose growth over comfort. Acknowledge the instances when you did something difficult because it was right, not because it was easy. Keep what I call a courage journal. Write down every time you do something that feels scary or difficult. Write down every time you choose the hard path. Write down every time you surprise yourself with your own strength. You'll be amazed at how much mental toughness you're actually building when you start paying attention to it. Weekly challenges. Every week, do something that stretches your mental toughness. Apply for that opportunity you think you're not ready for. Have that difficult conversation you've been avoiding. Try that new thing that intimidates you. Sign up for that challenge that scares you. Put yourself in a situation that requires you to grow. The goal isn't to succeed at everything. The goal is to expand your comfort zone consistently. The goal is to prove to yourself again and again that you can handle more than you think you can. The goal is to build evidence that you're stronger than you believe. Maybe it's joining a public speaking group if communication scares you. Maybe it's signing up for a martial arts class if physical confrontation intimidates you. Maybe it's taking an improv class if being spontaneous terrifies you. Maybe it's volunteering for a leadership role if responsibility feels overwhelming. Each week, push against a different edge of your comfort zone. Each week, prove to yourself that your current limitations aren't permanent. Each week, expand your definition of what you're capable of. Now let's address the voices in your head that are telling you why this won't work for you. Let's handle the objections, the fears, the excuses that keep most people stuck in weakness when they could be building strength. I don't have time to build mental toughness. This is the most common excuse, and it's completely false. You don't need hours every day. You don't need to completely restructure your life. You need moments, tiny moments scattered throughout your day. The decision to speak up instead of staying silent takes seconds. The choice to take the stairs instead of the elevator takes an extra minute. The commitment to do something that scares you takes just a few minutes. Mental toughness is built in micro decisions throughout your day, not in massive time commitments. Every small choice to choose growth over comfort is time invested in becoming unbreakable. Every moment you spend doing something difficult is a deposit in your mental toughness account. You're not adding time to your day. You're changing how you use the time you already have. I'm afraid I'll fail at this too. Here's what I need you to understand. There's no such thing as failing at building mental toughness. The very attempt to build it is success. Every time you try something difficult, you win. Either you succeed at the thing you're attempting, or you succeed at building the strength to handle not succeeding. Either way, you're stronger than when you started. The people you admire most have failed more times than you've even attempted anything. They've just learned to see failure as data, not death. They've learned to see setbacks as setups for comebacks. They've learned to see every attempt as progress, regardless of the outcome. Failure isn't the opposite of success. It's the raw material of success. Every failure teaches you something. Every setback shows you what doesn't work. Every mistake gives you information you can use to get better. I don't know where to start. Start exactly where you are, with exactly what you have, in exactly the situation you're currently in. Mental toughness isn't built by changing your circumstances. It's built by changing how you respond to your circumstances. Look at the areas of your life where you feel weakest and start there. If you struggle with social anxiety, start with small social challenges. If you avoid conflict, start with tiny moments of healthy confrontation. If you quit things easily, start with small commitments you can absolutely keep. Mental toughness isn't about becoming a different person. It's about becoming a stronger version of who you already are. You don't need to wait for the perfect moment, the perfect plan, or the perfect opportunity. You just need to start where you are with what you have. What if people think I'm weird for changing? Let me tell you something that will set you free. People who are committed to staying weak will always criticize people who are committed to becoming strong. People who are comfortable with mediocrity will always question people who are pursuing excellence. People who have given up on themselves will always try to convince you to give up on yourself. But here's what's beautiful about building mental toughness. The stronger you become, the less you need others' approval to feel good about yourself. The more you can handle, the less you're affected by others' opinions of your choices. The tougher you get mentally, the less you're controlled by what other people think of you. The people whose opinions actually matter will respect you more for having the courage to grow and change. The people worth keeping in your life will celebrate your strength, not criticize it. And the people who don't support your growth are showing you exactly how much their opinions should matter to you. I've tried to be stronger before and gave up. That wasn't failure, that was practice. Every time you've attempted to grow and stopped, you learn something valuable about what works for you and what doesn't. Every time you've started and quit, you've gathered data about your patterns, your triggers, your obstacles. Use that knowledge. Be compassionate with yourself about the past and stay committed to your future. The fact that you've tried before means you have it in you. The fact that you're here, listening to this, means you haven't given up. It means something inside you is still fighting for more. Every attempt to become stronger, even the ones that didn't last, built some mental toughness. Every time you've pushed yourself, even briefly, you've expanded your capacity. Nothing was wasted. Everything was preparation for this moment, for this new attempt, for this fresh start. What if I become too hard, too tough, too cold? This fear comes from a misunderstanding of what mental toughness actually is. Real mental toughness doesn't make you cold. It makes you calm. It doesn't make you hard. It makes you resilient. It doesn't make you emotionless. It makes you emotionally intelligent. Mentally tough people aren't robots. They're humans who have learned to feel everything without being controlled by what they feel. They're people who have developed the strength to be vulnerable, the courage to be authentic, the resilience to care deeply without being destroyed by caring. The strongest people are often the most compassionate because they understand struggle. The toughest people are often the most empathetic because they've been through difficulty. Mental toughness doesn't make you less human. It makes you more capable of handling the full spectrum of human experience. Let me leave you with this truth that will change everything if you let it. Mental toughness isn't about becoming invulnerable. It's about becoming comfortable with being vulnerable and showing up anyway. It's about feeling the fear and acting with courage anyway. It's about facing uncertainty and moving forward anyway. It's about experiencing setbacks and getting back up anyway. It's about being hurt and healing anyway. It's about being knocked down and standing up anyway. The mentally toughest people in the world aren't the ones who never fall down. They're the ones who've learned to get back up quickly. They're the ones who've learned to use their struggles as stepping stones instead of stumbling blocks. They're the ones who've learned to transform their pain into power, their setbacks into comebacks, their wounds into wisdom, and that ability, that power, to transform pain into strength, setbacks into comebacks, fear into fuel. That's not something you're born with. That's something you build. That's something you develop. That's something you earn through the daily choice to show up for yourself, even when you don't feel like it, even when it's hard, even when you're scared. You are not weak. You are not broken. You are not behind where you should be. You are not missing some essential piece that everyone else has. You're exactly where you need to be to start building the mental toughness that will transform every area of your life. Every day, you You have thousands of opportunities to choose strength over weakness, growth over stagnation, courage over comfort. The choice is always yours, and every choice you make is either building mental toughness or allowing it to atrophy. Every decision is either making you stronger or keeping you weak. So here's my challenge for you, and I want you to accept it right now, in this moment. For the next 7 days, do one thing each day that scares you just a little bit. It doesn't have to be huge. It doesn't have to be life-changing. It just has to stretch you beyond where you currently are. Maybe it's speaking up in a meeting when you usually stay quiet. Maybe it's going to the gym when you feel self-conscious about your body. Maybe it's having that conversation you've been avoiding for months. Maybe it's applying for something you want but don't think you deserve. Maybe it's just saying no when you usually say yes, or saying yes when you usually say no. Maybe it's introducing yourself to someone new. Maybe it's sharing an idea you've been keeping to yourself. Maybe it's taking a class that intimidates you. Maybe it's starting that project you've been procrastinating on. Maybe it's just walking into a room with confidence when you usually try to make yourself invisible. Pay attention to how you feel as you do this. Notice how your capacity for discomfort grows. Notice how your confidence increases. Notice how your self-talk changes. Notice how you start to see yourself differently. Notice how your relationship with fear begins to shift. After 7 days, you'll have proof that you're not weak. You'll have evidence that you can build mental toughness. You'll have the beginning of a new story about who you are and what you're capable of. You'll have lived experience that contradicts every limiting belief you've ever had about yourself. But don't stop at 7 days. Make it 14, then 21, then a month, then a way of life. Make building mental toughness not something you do, but something you are. Make it not a temporary experiment, but a permanent transformation. Remember, you're not trying to become someone else. You're uncovering the mental toughness that was always there, waiting for you to be brave enough to develop it, patient enough to build it, committed enough to see it through. The strongest version of yourself isn't some distant dream. It's a daily choice. It's in the next decision you make. It's in the next time you choose growth over comfort. It's in the next moment you decide to show up for yourself even when you don't feel like it. You're not weak. You just haven't built mental toughness yet. But that yet is everything. It's the difference between a fixed identity that keeps you stuck and a growth mindset that transforms your entire life. It's the difference between being a victim of your circumstances and being the architect of your destiny. Your mental toughness journey starts now. Not tomorrow when you feel more ready. Not next week when you have more time. Not next month when conditions are better. Now, in this moment, with this decision, with this choice to begin. Because here's the truth. You'll never feel completely ready. You'll never have all the confidence you want before you start. You'll never have all the strength you need before you begin building it. But you have enough. You have enough courage to take the first step. You have enough strength to make the first choice. You have enough mental toughness to begin becoming mentally tougher. That's all you need. That's all anyone ever needs. The willingness to start before you feel ready. To act before you feel confident. To show up before you feel strong. Because that's how strength is built. That's how mental toughness is developed. That's how you transform from someone who thinks they're weak into someone who knows they're unbreakable. The journey starts now. Your mental toughness is waiting. And the strongest version of yourself is ready to meet you the moment you're ready to do what it takes to become them. You're not weak. You're just getting started. And what you're getting started on will change everything.
Oral B Kids select Gen.
What separates legends from the average? What separates the 1% from the rest of this world? There will come a time in your life where you will ask yourself this question. Haven't you lived here long enough? You've been in doubt and fear and uncertainty and confusion and comparison long enough. Haven't you been depressed long enough? Haven't you been broke long enough? Haven't you been broken and fractured and defeated and demoralized long enough? You still think you have time, but I came here to sound an alarm in your hearts to let you know that tomorrow is not promised. I'm convinced that there's somebody listening to me who refuses to stay where they are, who will make the decision to separate yourself from the average. I want you to consider this my personal invitation to you into the 1%. This is not about a socioeconomic background. This is not about how much money you make or the car that you drive. This chiefly is about the person you become. Metaphorically speaking, go find a mirror, wipe the blood out of your eyes and tell yourself, I can see now! I got royalty in my DNA. I will not bow to ordinary. I got people to see, places to go, tables to sit at. I got work to do. This is what separates the 1%. Can you do what nobody in your bloodline has ever done before? Are you resilient enough to overcome failures and setbacks? Do you believe that you can communicate in such a way that is so powerful that you can build a team from nothing, brick by brick, and to lead a generation into the future? It takes a different person to walk into that room and sit at that table. I can see now what's possible. Past all of the pain and doubt and fear after they said that you'll never make a comeback. Do you believe that your dream, that the vision, that the idea that you see in your head, do you believe you can hold it in your hand? Family, I'm convinced that many of you are where you are because you don't see the value in where you're supposed to be. See, the problem with many of us is that we're so deeply anchored in the past that we cannot see the future. The question is, can you see past the betrayal, past the rejection, past the arguments, the rage, the anger, the misunderstandings, the mistakes you've made, and those who left you for dead? Can you see past that? And so what separates the ordinary from the extraordinary? Vision. I need vision. I cannot be a part of the 1% if I do not have vision and I do not understand. Lord, give me understanding. I'm talking about the 1% of people that are actually working on their mental health, that refuse to lose the fight against the demons that your parents and your family had to fight. This is your personal invitation endless drive and hunger, you will never eat. I just need you to believe that at the end of all of this, that you are the 1%. You wouldn't have made it this far in this video if you weren't. What truly separates the extraordinary individuals who changed the world and shaped the course of history from the average masses, it's a combination of talent, grit, resilience, and an indomitable spirit that propels them to achieve the unthinkable. It's the 1% when they are faced with crushing and failures and demoralizing setbacks that would make most quit. It's the 1% that view the problems and the challenges and the setbacks as opportunities to overcome every single day. The 1% of people, the 1% are fueled by a growth mindset. They consistently seek to learn, they consistently seek to improve themselves. They have a hunger to be stronger. Those who refuse to be average are always moving. There's a drive in them. There's a desire and a passion. There's a calling to be innovative, to blaze trails, to pursue, to be phenomenal, to be unforgettable. There's a drive. There's a hunger. It's what they eat. It's what they breathe. The process is who they are becoming on the way to the target. These are the people that can push through pain, and they can see a luminous future. They can see what's possible. They can feel their stored up potential. If they don't quit, if they don't throw in the towel, if they believe in themselves and put faith in God, that He will see them through. Let me tell you what separates the legends from the average. They're very clear on their why. Here's why I'm relentless. Here's why I'm hungry. Because if I don't do this, nobody else will. They're purposeful and passionate. They're self-aware. They're confident. They're continuously learning. They are curious and persistent and patient and disciplined. When you've had enough, find a mirror and tell yourself, enough is enough. I refuse to be average. Enough is enough. Separate yourself from not enough. Separate yourself from scarcity and lack and defeat. The greatest version of you is not the I can do anything version of you. The greatest version of you, come on, you know it, is the person that's got parameters. The person that says, no, I can't do that. I can't go there. I can't taste that. I can't touch that. I've got an unwavering self-belief and a confidence. I've got impeccable integrity and values and character. I will not bow to ordinary. I got people to see, places to go, tables to sit at. I got work to do. I just need you to believe that at the end of all of this, that you are the 1%. What do you believe? Because it is our beliefs that determine our behavior. Your destiny is linked to your identity. Everything that's coming in, everything that I believe, everything that I see will determine what I do. This is why the dark room is so important. Like if I don't put the work in, if I don't do what is required behind the scenes, I'll never step in public authority. If nobody's told you today, let me be the first to tell you. Every single person listening to me is standing at the precipice of the greatest decision they could ever make in their lives. For years, decades, generations, families will struggle. Centuries go by in a bloodline, and people, fathers and mothers make the same mistakes until all first pick. You are the only option. And there will never be another way. Believe. That is you. It's always been you. You've got everything you need to go to the next level, to obliterate glass ceilings and move forward. It is possible that if you could just focus and stay committed and be determined and direct your attention to what it is that you've been destined to have, you can have it. Do not settle. Do not think that where you are and what you see is all you will ever have. There is more. But change doesn't always come to you. It comes from you. Decide that you want to change your life. Decide that you know it's time. Decide that you've been here long enough. Come to the resolve that you understand, you are aware, and you have accepted that you have been broke and broken and weary and annoyed long enough. The problem with many of you is that you are surrounded by people who ask you the wrong questions. This is why when you're making decisions to change your life, you can't talk to people who are on your level because they're going to tell you it makes sense to stay here and just make here better when you know there is something higher that is calling you. There's a better quality of life. There's an abundance. There is an expectation, a passion, a new life that is calling you. And everybody on your level will try to convince you to stay here with them because they're stuck in a place called comfort. Are you willing to be uncomfortable? I remember back when I was cleaning toilets for a living and I would run into wealthy people every now and then, and oftentimes the reverberating theme that they would all seem to throw out is that, Marcus, you gotta make investments. If you're gonna be financially fit, fiscally disciplined, you gotta pay to play, you gotta make an investment. I knew that I wanted something more, and I knew I was destined for more, but I didn't want to accept the fact that if I'm going to make money, I've got to invest money. When you start making these investments, it's not going to feel good. It's not going to make sense to anybody on your level. Whatever goal you have, your physiology, your psychology, your relationships, your business ventures, whatever it is. So the question is, are you willing to leave this place called comfort? Are you aimed? Are you targeted? Do you believe that you have what it takes to pay the price? But more than that, can you handle the pain that comes with paying? It is not going to be comfortable. Are you willing to walk in not only uncomfortability, but are you willing to walk in uncharted territory? This means that I'm going to a place I've never been, and it's not going to feel good in the beginning, in the genesis, when we're first getting started. But eventually, if I stay committed, I'll see a harvest. You're going to reap a harvest. If you keep sowing sparingly, you will reap sparingly. But the moment that you understand that there is a price to pay to get where you want to be, it will cost you dearly. It don't feel good right now. I don't like it. I want to leave it. I want to throw in the towel. I want to walk away from it all. But I've got to be able to see the power of what lies ahead. Today's pain is tomorrow's power. The new life that you want, that you hold in your head, that you only dream of, it will cost you your old life. I got everything that I need to go to the next level. What is required to live the lifestyle that I see in my head? Because I no longer want to live vicariously through someone else. I'm no longer going to just sit around and like other people's pictures when I could be living that reality. So it's not that I want your life, it's that I understand that there's something more for me. But the question is, am I willing to write it out? Am I willing to see it, dream it, count up the cost, and then pay the price? Most of us are not willing to pay that price. And so we just go on living in the mundane, living in the monotony, living in a place where our money's unpredictable and our relationships are unpredictable. We're living in anxiety and stress. blev så hård. Den är obeveklig mot mig, men du är läkningen, det är mitt svar. Jag passerar över mig och tiden blev så hård. Den är obeveklig mot mig, men du är läkningen, du är mitt svar. Jag passerar över mig och tiden blev så hård. Den är obeveklig mot mig, men du är läkningen, du är mitt svar. Du är mitt svar. He said to God alone, I lay my plea. He said to God alone, I lay my plea. Han sa det till Gud. Han sa det till Gud, ensam bär jag min klaga. Och det som lyfter sorgen för att tål mitt hjärta. Av dig hoppas jag ljus efter mörkrets prövning. Du som vet vad bröst och själar gömmer. Mina tankar driver vilse som skepp i havets storm. Och kärleken är min lag, en bro jag måste gå. Andra dyker djupt och finner pärlor. Jag förlorar vägen i mörka vågor. Natten ger mig ingen vila. Som gnistor i ögonen brinner mitt val. Förtjänar söka före gryningens timmer. När världens får drucken i sin ro. Deras sinnen tomma som bostaden på ängen. Medan jag talar med fåglarna i nattens vind. Mina tankar driver vilse som skepp i havets storm. Och kärleken är min lag, en bro jag måste gå. Andra dyker djupt och finner pärlor. Jag förlorar vägen i mörka vågor. Andra dyker djupt och finner pärlor. Jag förlorar vägen i mörka vågor. Natten ger mig ingen vila. Som gnistor i ögonen brinner mitt val. Vad tjänar suckar före gryningens timme. När världen somnar drucken i sin ro. Deras sinnen tomma som boskapen på ängen. Medan jag talar med fåglarna i nattens vind. Jag klagar för solen, jag fiskar till molnen. Och söker min herre vars ljus växer över mig. Vem skönhet med ögon som fäller. En smal gestalt har skydd i sin glans. Han kallar på min själ, mitt hjärta i oro. Nära och fjärran i lockelse och flykt. Kärlek finns ej utan smärta, den går med sorg. Men bär oss och glädje, om vi kan skiner en vecka i månaden. Måste månaden väl betalas tillbaka. Åren går hårda, tiden är utan nåd. Men du är läkningen, du är svaret. He said to God alone, I lay my plea.
patient heart bring ease. From you I hope for comfort after hardship. For you are the knower of what the souls conceal. My thoughts have wandered, drifting like the sea. And love, my love, has raised a crossing for me. If others dive and gather pearls of gems, my fate strikes waves, drowning in the deep. I find no sleep, restless nights, as if sparks of fire rest within my eyes. What use is sighing before the dawn, while all the world lies drunken in its dreams? They rest with minds as empty as the cattle, while all the world lies drunken in its dreams. They rest with minds as empty as the cattle, while I converse through night with the birds. I confide in the sun, keep vigil with the moon, seeking my master, whose light upon me grows. Beauty, fair of face with eyes that slay, a slender form, jealous in his charm. He called my soul, my heart grown weary. His closeness near, yet far returns. Love cannot live without its pain, walks with grief yet carries joy. If fortune smiles a week within the month, the months of burning longing must repay. Oh, you whose thoughts are ever burning, heedless wandering with no sense of care. If he begins his present as he ends it all, and if he forgets his dues, he says God forgives. If he clings to patience, it is a bloody death. And if a letter slips, they serve him sorcery. If the shepherd sings above the trees, I say he's blameless, let it be excused. None complains or weeps from idle ease. Say the one whose heart turns like a wheel within. Strings are struck upon the lute of ember. My tears fall heavy from the storm of ice. Love cannot be healed by needle sting, nor by remedies mixed in secret valleys. He said, to God alone I lay my plea. O reliever of sorrows, to the patient heart bring ease. You I hope for comfort after hardship, for you are the knower of what the souls conceal. My thoughts have wandered, drifting like the sea. And love, my Lord, has raised a crossing for me. If others dive and gather pearls of gems, my fate strikes waves, drowning in the deep. I find no sleep through restless nights, as if sparks of fire rest within my eyes. What use is sighing before the dawn, while all the world lies drunken in its dreams? They rest with minds as empty as the cattle, while I converse through night with the birds. I confide in the sun, keep vigil with the moon, seeking my master, whose light upon me grows. A beauty fair of face with eyes that slay, a slender form, jealous in its charm. He called my soul, my heart grown weary, his closeness near, yet far in turns. Love cannot live without its pain. It walks with grief, yet carries joy. If fortune smiles a week within the months of burning longing must repay. Oh, you whose thoughts are ever burdened, heedless, wandering with no sense of care. If he begins his prayers in theirs, he ends in awe. And if he forgets his duty, says God forgives. If he clings to patience, it is a bloody death. And if a letter slips, they serve him sorcery. If the shepherd sings above the trees, I say he's blameless, let him be excused. None complains or weeps from idle ease, save the one whose heart turns like a wheel within. The strings are struck upon the loops of ember, my tears fall heavy from the storm of ice. Love cannot be healed by needle sting, or by remedies mixed in secret valleys. If you wish to drive away sorrow's cloud, fear not, be bold, hold fast your friend. Blame not the one who broke and healed again. In lowest parts he fell through pride. He mocks at fear and danger's cause. He's not the weight of troubles and affairs. May their dwelling be blessed with rain, clouds rising in the western winds. Waters pour by towering peaks, filling valleys, spreading seas on us. The lands are clothed in tender green, where herds now graze upon the plains. Ty som en borta från mina ögon, längtan bränner, jag orkar inte mer. När jag ser dig lever jag igen, din närhet är allt jag önskar. Jag har ingen hamn som tar emot mig, min kärleksbåt har gått vilse. I djupa stormar av mitt hjärta har jag förlorat vägen. Åren passerar över mig, tiden blev så hård. Den är obeveklig mot mig, men du är läkningen, du är mitt svar. Jag har passerat över mig, och tiden blev så hård. Den är obeveklig mot mig, men du är läkningen, du är mitt svar. Jag passerar över mig, och tiden blev så hård. Den är obeveklig mot mig, men du är läkningen, du är mitt svar. Jag passerar över mig, och tiden blev så hård. Den är obeveklig mot mig, men du är läkningen, du är mitt svar. Jag passerar över mig. sa det till Gud ensam när jag min klagan. Du som lyfter sorgen från ett tåligt hjärta. Av dig hoppas jag ljus efter mörkrets prövning. Du som vet vad bröst och själar gömmer. Mina tankar driver vilse som skepp i havets storm. Och kärleken är min lag, en bro jag måste gå. Andra dyker djupt och finner pärlor. Jag förlorar vägen i mörka vågor. Natten ger mig ingen vila. Som gnistor i ögonen brinner